With the release of its first season back in 2013, it didn't take long for Peaky Blinders to become one of the most popular crime dramas in the history of BBC 1 and 2. And now that season 6 is on the horizon, fans couldn't be more excited about what's coming next. But what do we really know about the continuation of the franchise? And should we be thrilled? For all this and more, stay tuned. First of all, let's talk about Stephen Knight's World War II commentary. For years now, the creator of Peaky Blinders has been pretty open about where he sees his crime drama ending after season 6. Fans knew that there was going to be a flash over Birmingham, followed by some of the most devastating explosions the world has ever seen. And with the sirens of the first British air raid sounding, the series was going to come to an abrupt close. At least that's what Stephen Knight envisioned when he first came up with the concept of the show. You see, Peaky Blinders is essentially a story that revolves around the terrifying impact of the First World War. We see what it has done to a recovering country, and how it has given Tommy Shelby the opportunities he needed to rise to the top on the back of betrayed bodies. When asked about where he sees the show in the future, Knight surprised fans by stating that he might be gearing up to take the series to the big screen in the form of a blockbuster movie. And if this is indeed the case, things won't be ending up where he first thought they would. In his own words, war has always been an important concept to the show, how the lesson from one war was not learned and was repeated. As such, he would love to continue barreling through the Second World War to make this theme obvious to those who would buy a movie ticket. So in other words, season 6 of Peaky Blinders is just the end of the beginning. This is great news for fans of the franchise who would hate to see their favorite crime drama brought to a premature end. But that doesn't mean that people aren't concerned with this change in direction. As stated by Harvey Dent in The Dark Knight, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And if there's a worse case scenario than premature termination, it's the ruining of the franchise by continuing when nothing remains to be said. Knight has admitted that he wishes to continue the franchise due to the fact that he knows just how popular it has become. So fans are hoping that this blockbuster appeal is less of a money grab and more of a true intentioned continuation of what still needs to be said. Since we haven't yet experienced season 6 of Peaky Blinders, we can't exactly say that the continuation of the franchise is leaning in one direction over the other. But we really do hope the season 6 finale doesn't choose to end open-endedly, where things could be tied off, giving some closure to fans. This does, after all, leave space for the blockbuster adaptation to never take place, forever cursing fans to a lackluster season that was ruined by the big dreams of the showrunner. We're looking at you, Game of Thrones. That being said, Stephen Knight hasn't disappointed fans throughout the running of the last 5 seasons, so we're cautiously optimistic about the future. It also sounds like Knight's writing process is going to stay the same. In other words, he won't be changing the way he's tackled the last couple seasons of Peaky Blinders. Rather than adapt his writing style and plan ahead, he stated that he refuses to amend what has resulted in one of the best shows he's ever worked on. You see, Stephen Knight has been known to push on without much planning. He likes to get to know the characters he has developed on a personal level, and then, rather than being led by story arcs and character development, he prefers to let those characters loose on an open canvas, seeing where they will take him when given the agency to lead. It's a strategy that can only result in greatness, where the characters have been given enough thought to become real. Something that Peaky Blinders has become known for over the years, with fans becoming invested in various characters because of this unique writing ability that Knight presents us with. And as we said earlier, it sounds like the creator of the show will not be treading on his tried and tested method in exchange for a blockbuster deal. Rather than planning ahead and fitting the story into a specific arc, he'll be seeing where season 6 takes him before actually committing to the continuation of the franchise on the big screen. In other words, it's not greed that appears to be leading the way, but a true sense that some piece of the puzzle remains to be told. Speaking of season 6, Paul Anderson has been dropping some major hints. Best known for his brilliant portrayal of Arthur Shelby Jr. on the show, Paul Anderson recently made fans excited by teasing the release date of the final season of the franchise. And according to these latest statements, we might not have to go long until Peaky Blinders season 6 makes its first appearance on our screens. So, what exactly has fans begging for more information then? Well, Anderson took to Instagram a couple of days ago where he shared a picture of himself and Cillian Murphy holding their prop guns for the first time. This was captioned with the words, "This is the first ever image of Tommy and Arthur. We picked these guns up for the first time 10 years ago, and next month we put them down for the last time." And before fans even had time to analyze what the actor meant by this vague statement, he continued by saying, "Coming soon, Peaky Blinders, season 6. As of right now, we still have no idea when the 6th and final season will be making its way into our television screens. But since the studio has obviously okayed this Instagram post by Anderson, we have a feeling that things are going to be happening pretty fast. Putting down the guns in a month could refer to the end of filming, which leaves just post-production remaining until the show can make its final stand on BBC. And fans couldn't be more hyped. Sadly, season Season 6 won't be featuring Helen McCrory as Polly Gray. This follows the unfortunate demise of the actress from cancer in April of last year, and Cillian Murphy has finally opened up about how it felt to film the final installment of the series without her at his side. In an interview with Empire magazine, he went on to say that the newest episodes will be somewhat of a tribute to Helen through the loss of Polly on the show. And according to Cillian, this is a more fitting tribute for someone that made everyone's time on set a delight. He also expressed dismay over how the coronavirus really put a spanner on the works because of the delays it presented with the show. In his own words, "If we had shot then, Helen would have been in the show, and that makes me feel sad. It's a role that she was so dedicated to, after all, and those closest to her know that she would have done anything to give a proper send-off to the lovable Polly Gray." Cillian also went on to say that it was hard to comprehend that Helen was gone while they were filming. It's tough to get into character when you're feeling such loss, but luckily for the show, this devastating loss could be used to really give weight to the words that were being said about Polly. So when we finally get to watch the 6th and final season of the show, we'll actually be hearing what the actors thought of Helen. Last but not least, fans can also expect a dance theater production in the future. This might sound like something of little interest to fans of the grimy lore of Peaky Blinders, but it's sure to open the franchise up to a long list of musical theater lovers who are missing out on the splendid story told by Stephen Knight. And according to reports, Knight will actually be involved in the creation of the stage play. In fact, he has even termed the production Dance for People Who Don't Usually Watch Dance. As it turns out, tickets for the show are already available for purchase from the official website of the show, and fans are somewhat curious about what a musical dance production of Peaky Blinders might look like. The first show is set to take place come September 27th, 2022, and has been titled Peaky Blinders: The Redemption of Thomas Shelby. And since Benoit Swan Pofour is behind the stage direction and choreography, we just know that it's going to be a hit with theater lovers across the globe. And there you have it, everything you need to know about the Peaky Blinders headlines currently floating around. What are you most looking forward to though? And what are your thoughts on the continuation of the franchise? Feel free to let us know in the comments section down below.